Welcome to Good News Week. And the big news? If you missed out on throwing a water balloon or groping a Beijing commando during the torch relay last week, don't worry. Due to overwhelming demand, the Chinese government is going to set up special areas for protesters during the Olympics. Or as we like to call them, jails. Or why not use Tiananmen Square? Huh? The media gets a clear view and the army gets a clear shot. Best of all, it's washable. But I don't know what the Tibetans are complaining about. They get to come back as something better. Let's hear it for Buddhist tumour. Yeah! But it won't be all bad. Some protesters will even be allowed to compete. During the 400-metre relay, they'll get to receive the baton, although probably not in the way they were expecting. Yes. Plastic bags. Plastic bags, ladies and gentlemen. We can't make up our minds about them. And the environment ministers, who should make up our minds for us, have failed to agree on a national approach. I've always found the best approach is to pick them up by the handles. And Victorian shoppers will pay 25 cents for plastic bags and a further 25 cents if they want to take their bag home in a bag. The good news is Peter Garrett is once again standing up for the forgotten minority, the poor plastic bag manufacturers. How can we sleep while our bags are burning? How can we sleep while our bags are burning? In Brazil, a new study has found that a dramatic drop in the birth rate is related to the national addiction to soap operas. Apparently watching mindless TV doesn't just shrivel your brain. And not only are Brazilian women having less children, they're giving them names like Tad, Storm, Cliff, Ridge and Escarpment. Soaps have a similar effect in America, where women are giving birth to children who are bolder and more beautiful and less young and restless than they... than the previous generation. But TV can also change things for the better. Want to build AIDS awareness? Show an HIV-positive character. Want to fight drug abuse? Show the consequences. Want to fight a fascist nation of racist thugs? Show border security. And that's the good news.
It's good news week. Someone dropped a bomb somewhere, contaminating atmosphere and blackening the sky. It's good news week. Someone found a way to give the rotting dead a will to live, go on and never die. It's good news week. It's good news week. It's good news week.
Thank you, good evening. Tonight, after saying no to a night out with Barry Hall, the legend made flesh, Mikey Robbins. She's at the Metro Theatre in Sydney this Friday and the Cracker Comedy Festival. The greatest goddamn star It Takes Two has ever had, Julia Morris. And on sabbatical from the Chasers War on Terror Variety Hour so he can conduct a national listening tour, Chris Taylor.
It is true.
And they're preparing to board the good ship, Claire Hooper. Coming soon to the Factory Theatre in Sydney, the Time Out London Comic of the Year, Mark Watson. And Kill the Fatted Calf, for she hath returned, Julie McCrossin.
I was going to say stand up, Paul, but you were.
I don't even want to talk tonight. Do you want to say anything? Does anyone want to say anything?
Let's do a show.
I didn't know much about the news, but I know you're tiny now, so that's fine. I feel like I've got a feel for the show now.
Thanks for making me feel so comfortable. At ease at my own programme.
Oh, Pussycat, are you okay?
I feel like my 12th birthday again.
So what happened at your 12th birthday, Paul?
Well, there was a cake for my sister, but not for me. I'm a twin.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
All right, well, we'll talk over the course of the show, I'm sure. We call this first thing, What's the Story? Mikey, Julia, Chris, draw your own conclusions.
Okey-doke.
All right, yet another woman who wasn't invited to the 2020 summit.
And her private... Oh, there we go.
Oh, that guy, he was the runner-up for Governor General. Came so close.
I'm certain I saw him taking my VCR last week. This is a Queensland story, I believe.
Has he got a tattoo of for sale on the back of his head?
No!
Has he not?
He wrote that in biro. We've probably got a mate to write it, really, 'cause...
But he's quite the tattoo fiend, though, is he not?
He is. This is a great story. He wants to be a human billboard. And because, as you saw, half of his face has already got tats, but he's got clear advertising space on the other side.
It's a waste. It's a waste.
It's just begging for someone, and so he's going to auction it off to the highest bidder. So someone like McDonald's can have the right to have their logo on this guy's face. And I'm kind of hoping that it's not just the golden arches, the McDonald's logo, but one of those McDonald's next 200 metres signs. And they also, as part of the contract, force him to stand 200 metres from an outlet for the rest of his life. That'd be value for money. I'm tempted to take out like a classified on it. It's like a gay personal ad sort of thing. Tattooed man seeks young boy for punishing all-night sex.
Yeah. We'll totally take it.
Absolutely, just so he's got to wear that.
They do have it, ladies and gentlemen. 10 points to start them off.
Actually, Paul, it's a pity this Brisbane guy's not an AFL player, because then he could have just tattooed a target on his face so Barry Horde knows where to hit next.
A Brisbane man is selling himself as a human billboard and offering companies the chance to permanently tattoo an ad on the right side of his face. Jason Niebling is hoping the scheme pays off so he can provide better for his wife and 4 children. And if it does pay off, he's got 5 more faces to tattoo and expand the business.
Could one of them be Tats Lotto?
Tats Lotto, that's nice.
Actually, looking at the shape of his head, roll-on deodorant would be perfect. Mum.
And it's not as easy as just getting a tattoo. Once a week he has to go up and down the street sticking his head in everyone's letterbox.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about providing for his kids. His kids will hate him because he'll have drawings and writing on his face.
Well, he already has drawings and writings, but this will be sponsored
but
drawings and
corporate
writings.
ones.
Corporate, yeah.
Yeah, he's totally sold out, hasn't he?
Yeah, he said I liked his early work.
Yeah, I like it.
Claire, Mark, Julie, get your teeth into this.
Okay.
Oh. Right.
Midget's getting out of a
A
car.
lot of kids
wow.
getting out.
Construction work?
Oh, hang on. That's that second picture was of
Crocodile.
the crocodile trap. No, that was the third picture, the crocodile.
Oh.
But the second picture, the thing being lifted on a winch.
Winch.
The winchy thing.
I'm the man
That
in
was
this team.
yes. That was a crocodile trap. Is there a word for a crocodile trap?
Crocodile trap.
Yes, well...
Stingray, I think.
Yeah.
What's that?
Stingray, crocodile hunter trap. Or what?
Oh!
How long have we got to wait?
A little tiny bit longer, by the look of it.
Paul,
Very,
Paul, this isn't the right story, but because it's a crocodile, I want to mention the story where a woman was grabbed by a crocodile and her husband leapt onto the crocodile's back with a biro and poked its eyes out and saved her life.
Wow.
It's not the story, but I admire that man.
Hey,
yeah, let's hear it for that fella.
Yeah, if my wife is watching, I love you, honey, never going to happen. Anything larger than a small Labrador, you're on your own, babe.
What's this? Everyone's so proud of how dangerous your animals are here. Oh, mate, you'll be killed if you come over here, and then it turns out you can kill a crocodile with a biro. I've got a pencil, I'm going to take on a shark.
I think chances are this particular crocodile that I think this story is about couldn't be deterred by a biro because apparently he's 4 metres long, which is really pretty long when you have teeth. And they called him Croczilla or something, and they were calling him Houdini Croc as well because he was hard to catch. He's a dangerous croc, but he got caught, and you know, like most dangerous things get sort of killed or put down or put in jail, but he's been put in a penthouse and being... they're using him to sire baby...
Well, like the Playboy house.
Well, essentially, like they're using him to breed because he's such a fine specimen of crocodile.
Where did they find him? I think that's the more important thing.
He was hunting tourists and children in Cape York.
Close enough, ladies and gentlemen, she has it. Give or take a bit. Tourists and children. On the Cape York Peninsula, rangers have caught a 500-kilogram bull crocodile that had been stalking children near a school.
They're easy to swallow because they're little.
When you say stalking children, was it actually sending them text messages and stuff?
Not quite handy with the mobile phone, but certainly...
Well, I don't know what this country's like.
The school now believes this might explain the recent increase in wagging. Teachers first became suspicious when a few students admitted playing in a huge storm water drain that had big pointy spikes around the opening but was all pink inside. They've caught 3 big crocs in the same trap in just a few weeks, but it's no surprise, crocs can smell blood in the water, and Brendan Nelson has just been in town on a listening tour. So after one mouth-watering round of Good News Week, the Robbins team are on 10 points, the Hooper team on 10 points. During the break, as we both nod in front of the Queen, both teams were given 3 clues to a recent strange but true story. Robbins, Morris and Taylor have Japan's favourite movie star.
Actually, can I just see that?
Huh? You have a go?
This should be the mascot for the Beijing Games. Symbolising the spirit of terror and bloodshed that we're going to see.
We also have a personal music device.
Oh.
I think this might be Warney's iPod.
And finally, this.
Gotta keep those lovely vibrations happening with her. Gotta keep those loving good vibrations happening with her. Gotta keep those
Don't be putting that on my iPod.
I felt very good vibrations.
He's
Dale.
holding you back. That fella, that
Do you
Hobson,
think?
is holding you back.
On so many levels, Dale.
And Hooper, Watson and McCrossin got a red light.
It makes it look like a doctor.
Gee, I was thinking something else.
I think it looks like the little fella at the start of Toy Story.
I don't think any of us do.
Isn't it cute?
No, it's
Does
a red
anyone
light.
else find this cute?
We're all picturing you as a whore.
Well, that's what I was going for initially.
Mark, in this country we've been calling them sex workers for a while, but isn't it oddly refreshing to hear the word whore again, ladies?
I forgot Australia was very politically correct place.
We also have a polar bear.
Put it on.
Why does the Bundy Bear want to have sex with our women?
Because we go off like a threepenny banger.
And this.
Can't seem to face up to the facts. I'm tense and nervous, I can't relax. Bed's hot, my head's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real life wire. Thank you.
More of that wonder and that magic a bit later on. To start round 2, a game called 3.5 Corners. A quick look.
Crazy bear.
That bear's been drinking.
That's good.
A quick look at some world news the other shows don't tell you about. Mr. Robbins, are you ready to beat the clock?
I suppose so.
In the Sydney suburb of Wahronga, 12 residents are begging the council to change the name of their street.
Yes.
What's it called?
Bogan Street.
Thank you very much. Bogan Place.
Bogan Place.
Bogan Place.
But Ipswich in Queensland's happy to take the street now.
I feel like giving you 2 points for that. No. In the US, a man has been acquitted of smuggling iguanas in what?
His trousers.
Well, close.
Close.
Close. Actually, he had a prosthetic leg made, and he had iguanas in his prosthetic leg, which I believe is a police album from the 80s.
Thank you. Has it right, ladies and gentlemen? In Norfolk, In a bid to stop antisocial behaviour, police have banned children from buying what?
Drugs.
Hope not.
Mobiles?
No? Come on, you can do this.
Spray cans?
Come on, it's a condiment.
Vegemite.
Maybe the container the condiment's in.
Jars.
Come on.
Beer bottle.
I'm giving you everything I can, people.
Knives.
Let it go. Squeeze bottles of tomato sauce.
We would never have
Antisocial behaviour in Norfolk apparently is kids going around with bottles of tomato sauce, squeezing them. I don't know if they're squeezing them on each other, on other people, or on the landscape.
Well, they should just give the kids more pies. Catch it.
I like your attitude. In Spain, a cosmetic surgeon has come up with a new way to make people taller.
He gives them a little head.
I beg your pardon?
He puts a little implant in the top of your head to give you the impression of being taller.
And does it lift the hair and does it go under there?
You look like an idiot.
I know, but does it lift the hair and go under there?
8 points for Mikey Robbins, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, a Spanish cosmetic surgeon has come up with a new way to make people taller. A 5-centimetre silicone head implant.
What?
Finally, everyone can look like Brendan Nelson.
Jesus, we're giving him a kick in the night, aren't we?
It doesn't stop, it's getting worse. Because a huge bulging noggin is an excellent way to draw attention from how short you are. The only sign you've had the surgery is a small scar, usually covered by your hair, or obscured by the eclipse created by your massive head. Miss Hooper, ready for a trip around 3.5 corners.
Sure, yes, bring it on.
In China, a man has had the same pet for 11 years and takes it for walks. What is it?
It's a bloody snail, isn't it? It's a snail. And when he moved house, his wife let him take it. He found it on the street, and he claims it's been alive for 11 years. I think his wife just keeps replacing it when he cries.
As weird as it seems, you do have it. 2 points. In Canada, an artist has painted an 18-metre image that can only be seen by Google Earth satellites. What is it?
It is, Wally, but they don't know how long till you can spot it because Google Earth, you know, like the photos update regularly, but like it could be up to years before you actually find, even if you're checking the right spot. Does anybody else know?
So it's
No, I actually have a life.
Wally from...
Do you remember what they were like?
Too busy to play Where's Wally on Google Earth.
No. His wife got a tattoo of Wally many years ago and he's still looking.
Yeah, and I can tell you why, because that spot doesn't exist.
In England, why does the village of Lunt want to change its name?
I actually don't know this story, but I've got to guess that it might be because of the little bit people keep adding to the L.
You are right. Yes, vandals keep defacing the road signs with a C. In LA, a company has created a range of what for jail inmates?
Electric chairs?
Makeup.
Cards?
Suicide implements?
Cards, which...
Cards.
Greeting cards.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're banged up.
Sorry you're in jail.
Sorry you killed that guy.
OK, thank you very much. 10 points for Claire, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on. If you have a loved one or a friend in prison, you can never find the right birthday card for them or Christmas card. Well, worry no more about that. A company in LA has created greeting cards for inmates. There you go.
I think if you've got a loved one in prison, you've got bigger problems than greeting cards.
It's also the Paris Hiltons and those other girls, is that being in prison is so hot right now. So it's just essential that you have a card for it.
And a card's about the only thing she can read and get through all the way.
God, yeah, absolutely. They give us some crayons.
Season's greetings and Christmas wishes. You're in the big house, I'm in your missus. The Robbinses are now on 18 points. The Hoopers on 20 points. After the break, blow up your pants. And now, blow up your pants. Julia Morris, would you please enter the soundproof booth?
I'm going to dress on?
Paul, we might have a slight problem here,
That's
mate.
all right. It's not going to be a Marilyn Monroe moment, I'm sure.
Well, if anyone...
You could have worn a
Actually, it
longer
is in a low dress, isn't it? This could be interesting.
Now look at that.
Do you want them to maybe shoot you just above the
I
waist?
beg your pardon, I love it.
You love it, okay. Well, you better hop in the booth there.
I think I'm willing to give it a shot. Look.
Hey, before you get in, have you waxed?
Only my nipples. All right. Come on, there's no need for that sort of talk. There's
Classy
no need
lady,
for it.
classy lady.
And then, did the air come up through that bit?
Yeah, the air comes up through that bit.
And then what do I have to do?
Well, maybe if it's problematic, hide in a corner. All right. All you have to do is grab a letter, then answer a few simple questions.
What?
All the correct answers will start with that letter. Yeah, makes sense. Are you ready?
Is Australia ready?
Okay. All right, can we start the engines, please?
Oh! And then what happens? Oh my God!
That happens.
Okay, go one.
What letter do you have?
Oh, down.
Yes, it's an F. I tell you what, this game has never been so thrilling.
Certainly hasn't for me.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay.
The name of the great Carlton footy player who likes a spot of open-air urination.
Oh, Brendan Favola.
Yes!
I'm sorry, but I'm very, very bright.
Complete the line of this famous song.
Oh.
Can you hear the drums?
Oh, Fernando.
The name of the former Australian boxing champion making a comeback at 43?
Is he the big bag Fennec?
Yes!
Is it?
Jeff, it's Jeff!
Little Jeff?
A cosmetic nurse in Australia is teaching courses in yoga for which part of the body?
For the fanny.
Oh, maybe you should try again.
Is it for the face?
I couldn't quite hear you. What?
Is it for the fascia?
Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen, Julie Morris! You've got 10 points.
I love it.
How was it? Was it all right for you in the booth?
Doll, I'm keeping the F forever. It was one of the more pleasant experiences of my lifetime.
Julia Morris, ladies and gentlemen. Walking now. Our cosmetic nurse has started running courses in facial yoga, which allegedly has all the benefits of Botox without the needles and urban cowboy singing husband. The exercises include pursing your lips while smiling, blowing kisses while keeping your forehead smooth, and wagging your tongue. Wagging your tongue is not only good for wrinkles, it also lets people know your mouth is happy. Facial yoga is a spiritual exercise too. With practice, you can achieve enlightenment by sticking your tongue up your nose and licking your brain. Julie McCrossin, would you like to enter? The Soundproof booth!
Polly, could I bring my friend Mark Watts, a Welsh lad who's never had the experience of an Aussie soundproof booth? Don't worry, love. It's all completely normal. We do this in Australia all the time.
Help. Normally, if you're in a space like this with a woman, there's all sorts of trouble.
Start it up! Start up the thing! Start it... Oh!
You can travel. This is fantastic. You don't have this in Wales. There you go, Dean. Can I have that one too? The gentleman has discovered Double D, another great Australian
I like it with two people in there. We've never had two people in there before.
Well, it won't be the last time, I reckon.
It's a soundproof booth. Name the former foreign minister and stylish Adelaide man about town.
It's almost British. The gentleman's name's Downer.
Dan, Alexander Downer.
Yeah, Alex.
Alexander's got it, ladies and gentlemen. The name of the swimmer kicked out of the Australian team for allegedly bashing a teammate.
Ah!
Oh, okay. Let me out!
Sorry, Mark, that was just a little bit of nervous tension.
Yeah.
I know he surfs, I know he's got a six-pack. I even feel some compassion for the guy.
Begins with a D.
Yeah, we know that,
D.
mate. That's why we're in this bloody thing.
Begins with a D. He could have been mentioned in Pride and Prejudice.
Oh. Darcy!
Oh, yes. That's one to find the real men in the room, isn't it? Oh, yes, I'm a real man.
Swimming? Why can't we have a question about English literature?
Complete the name of this yoga position that you can't do with your face. Downward facing.
Donga.
Weird thing is, that's not the first time that's happened.
Well, if it isn't dog, we're going to all have some questions to ask Claire now.
I have it right, ladies and gentlemen, downward facing dog. A new survey has found 1 in 5 scientists are taking what at work?
Not drugs, surely.
They do have it all right on 10 points. According to a new survey, 1 in 5 scientists are using performance-enhancing drugs at work. Well, you don't graft a human ear onto a mouse when you're straight. This explains why they wear those plain white coats. Anything more vibrant, and they just stare at them for hours. And dabbling with performance-enhancing substances can be dangerous. If you're working on travelling at the speed of light and you speed yourself up too much, you could overtake light and collide with something in the dark. To my right, 28 points. To my left, 30 points. Oh. Coming up, the game of love, perfect match.
It's good news week.
The name of this game is Perfect Match. Chris, you're looking for that special someone for the Crown Prince of Dubai. Is it a racehorse, a camel, or a pair of Georges? Match 'em up, bait them money.
Now, the Crown Prince of Dubai, not a close personal friend, but he's incredibly rich, as I understand. He's filthy rich. In fact, he's one of the few rich Arabs that Princess Di didn't sleep with.
Absolutely disgraceful.
That one went as far as I'm concerned.
But no, this is the guy. He runs Dubai. He runs the shop, and he kind of is the guy behind all those big hotels. You know, those extraordinarily
7-star.
novelty hotels.
There's the Palm, there's the World.
There's the World, and I'm thinking it might be possibly George Bush's. Like, he's got a new hotel he's designing in the shape of George W. Bush's buttocks.
Oh, dear.
Because he knows it would always be booked out, because there'd always be Australian PMs who'd love to go in and lick the walls.
Saucy.
But I think I might know. I've actually been to Dubai, and they are obsessed with camels. So if you picked up the local version of Zoo magazine, they'd have instead of Crystal Foreskin, they'd have a camel in swimsuit. And
Spitting.
they like the wet look. Yeah. And actually enter camels into their beauty pageants, and the camels normally end up winning. They beat the local women. This is absolutely true, because the women are all in burqas, so you can't really tell if they're hot or not. And the Crown Prince was at one of these beauty pageants and was so taken, he spent like $2 million. That sounds like a lot of money, $2 million, and by regular prostitute standards, that is a lot of money for 2 humps. But... Oh, yeah. There's a long history of actually princes falling in love with camels. You just got to look at Charles and Camilla.
Hey!
He does have it.
That's sexy.
How much more are you going to dump on our royal family? We still own you.
Wait, the royal family are more like Euro Disney now without the rides, unless you count Fergie. That's not fair. No. That's such.
Let's have a look. See if Chris is right. It is the camel. It's been a big couple of weeks for beauty pageants. Miss World Australia, Miss America, and in the United Arab Emirates. The Crown Prince of Dubai paid $2.7 million for the world's most beautiful camel. $2.7 million for a good-looking, humped, uncooperative beast. Most people see it as an extravagance. Paul McCartney sees it as a saving of $48 million. Sadly, the pageant is no stranger to controversy. Last year's most beautiful camel was disqualified when someone realised it was Sarah Jessica Parker. It's just cruel.
Gone too far.
It's just cruel.
No.
Mark, you're looking for the perfect match for Snoop Dogg. That's Snoop Dogg? Is it the gorgeous author J.K. Rowling? Gorgeous politician Barack Obama?
Oh, hello.
Or gorgeous rock star Pete Doherty?
Man,
goes
imagine
with
being
who?
that thin and still finding a roll of fat to put out on display.
Yeah, he's really struggling now. He's down to his last roll. This sounds as unlikely as the thing about the camel, but I think Mr. Dog, has, presumably that's his name. It'd be easy to find him in the phone book. Dog, S. I think he's written a book. I think that's the connection. I think it's him around. I think he's written a children's book to try and, well, God knows, to try and make the few remaining good kids in the world screwed up.
Yeah, you know what would be great though? They'd be a better match, him and J.K. Rowling, if you added a G to her name. Because then it'd be Snoop Dogg and she'd be J.K. Growling.
Yeah,
So,
I'll tell you what.
but it's true, he has released a book. It's got a brilliant title.
A lot of your best stuff is about dogs today.
It's all dogs. I love dogs.
Well, I don't know what it's called.
It's called, isn't it called Where's the Cheese or something else?
Where's the cheese?
Isn't it?
That was Peter Russell Clark's autobiography.
It'll go beautifully with all his porn that he makes as well, I think, won't it? Go side by side on the shelves.
Who's the perfect match, are we saying?
I think it sounds like it is J.K.
Mrs. Hogwarts.
Yeah, J.K.
What, her real name's J.K. Rowling?
Yes.
OK, let's have a look. It is J.K. Rowling, and yes, Snoop Dogg is reportedly writing a series of urban children's books. The series will be called, as Claire said, Where's the Cheese? And cheese is very important to Snoop, along with cookies, chips, cake, shiny things and bong deodorizer. The good news is Snoop's children's books have started to trend. Thomas the Tank Engine is now a serious pimp ride. Winnie the Pooh has some new friends called Tiggers with Attitude. And a Dr. Zoot's classic has become The Cat in the Hat pops a cap in your lap. Them 38 points, them 40 points. Strange but True is next.
It's Good News Week.
This is Strange but True. Mikey, Julia, Chris, your clues were the mutant reptile.
Hello, Paul.
The hot little iPod.
Oh, yeah. Not so much an iPod as a G-Spot.
And that beautiful song.
Gotta keep those loving good vibrations happening with. Help me now. Gotta keep those loving good vibrations happening with her. Gotta keep those loving good vibrations happening with her.
That was like Hill's song on Valium.
Okay. There was I thinking the lyrics to that song was come in and see the good guys. They catch and they'll slash the
Okay, Godzilla represents Japan. We've got...
Japan is the home of small gadgets, such as makes things like these MP3 players.
Vibrator.
Basically, yes.
The good vibrations.
Basically,
Just shouting vibrator, Julia.
There is now a vibrator that you can hook up to your iPod, so you get iCum.
It's an all-in-one vibrator and iPod.
You can get breast implants that have got an MP3 player in them now. Not joking. So you can hit woo, change the channel.
Can I shuffle?
Oh, here we go.
Let's all go back to my place and download.
I'll tell you what, you don't want to put any Smith songs on it, though, because your vagina gets really depressed. and I've heard, apparently if you...
I saw a really sad vagina.
And if you put any Paul McCartney songs on it, I think Heather Mills is legally entitled to 50% of your orgasm.
Ah, they do have it, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing. That's why we call it strange but true.
That really was strange.
In
Sorry.
Japan, Japan held its...
Do you want to try it, Julie? Do you want to wear it?
She's absolutely...
I'm absolutely overcome by that story. I'm
Hey, you
sorry,
will be.
Paul.
Japan has held its very first sexpo, and one product that received a lot of attention was a music-activated vibrator called the G-Pod. Well, you learn something new every day. I thought G-Pod Dildo was a character in Lord of the Rings. It has 3 motors which vibrate in time to any audio input. 3 motors. What sort of terrain are they expecting? You can plug your G-Pod into your mobile, which gives a whole new meaning to hands-free, and also gives a new meaning to the expression, I can't hear you, I'm going into a tunnel. Claire, Mark, Julie, you had the red light, the bear,
Hello, Paul. Sorry, he's the same.
and this.
Can't seem to face up to the facts. I'm tense and nervous, I can't relax. Can't sleep, my bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Psycho killer, let's just say. Run, 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 run away.
The way you roll your eyes when you sing that is genuinely upsetting.
I've captured the spirit of the
You
song.
really have. It's not much of an act at all.
No, I know. Look, Claire, this is a bit like a revisit of the alligator crocodile story for me because I know so many polar bear stories.
stories,
Oh,
yes.
here we go.
Well, OK, up on the North Pole, someone was walking, doing a great big adventure thing. They fell over, they were nearly dying, and you know how St Bernard dogs have those little... What do you call them?
Little keg.
Keg?
Dicks.
And
Everyone else has been so rude and I'm just sitting here like a British person.
they have little kegs. Well, evidently, a polar bear with a keg came up and gave it medical care like MD and saved that person's life.
You're insane.
That was a dream.
And the psycho...
It's what I hope would happen.
Yeah. Did it have to be something that's happened in reality or in her head?
To get the points, I think something that's happened in reality.
All right, so I think it is yet another polar bear story. And I think it's less to do with polar bears. Because I believe this is pointedly directed at Mark Watson.
Well, I hope it is something with polar bears, because I've had this for a long time now.
Yeah.
It's the story that Talking Heads have released a single. Done.
No.
We need all 3.
You need all 3.
We've got essentially climate change and the polar bears representing climate change.
And
Yes.
my song was You Can't Seem to Face Up to the Facts. So the Earth has to face up to the fact that if we don't save it with some care, these blokes will go crackers.
And then we'll all have to have sex with prostitutes.
No, and the doctor. So just to add a level of complexity that you're clearly waiting for with your little
Yeah,
finger.
you haven't got there yet. You got to,
We
know.
will- all right, little fella, we'll
Could the
get there.
doctor be about?
So impatient, just like a child. Are we there yet?
The doctor could be that this could be about the fact that actual humans are being diagnosed with stress-related complaints and like climate change is actually responsible for stress-related conditions in humans.
They have it, ladies and gentlemen. It was in there. It was at the end there. 10 points. According to new research, we're getting so anxious about climate change, it's physically affecting our health and sending us to the doctor. The ice caps are so depressing, the Arctic's now full of bipolar bears.
Very nice.
It's even resulted in a new youth subculture. The eco-emo. They want to die so the world can live. But rather than getting depressed, people should take positive action. Like not using the car and turning off the heating and lights, because nothing's more cheery than a cold, dark, empty house. After the break, dirty, sexy, fast money. Stay with us. Here it is, the one someone might be waiting for. Dirty, sexy, fast money.
Hello.
Hi. A 55-year-old German farmer married a woman he met online. What did she tell him on their wedding night?
She was a man.
Yes, she had a penis and her real name was Ralph.
The Ralph is almost worse.
Yes. Probably what he'll be doing on the wedding night. In Stockholm, a museum will open next year dedicated to what Swedish icon? There's only one, really.
Oh, ABBA.
What?
ABBA. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, Mark Watson.
Mark Watson, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Watson has it. Following the success of Kevin 07, what slogan is Victorian Liberal leader Ted Baillieu using for the state election in 2 years?
Ted, I'm not dead.
Bailey, good for you.
So are you going to lose it? Anybody?
1, 2, 3, 4,
it's a hard
5,
one.
6, 7, 8, 9,
20
10,
Ted.
Ted. Okay.
20 Ted.
Oh, right. See, it's like 10, but Ted. Yeah.
20 Ted.
Yours is better.
He's an idiot. These are all in the news. Saggy former Baywatch star David Hasselhoff has a classy way of trying to pick up women. What is it?
I don't know.
Drug.
By the neck.
Anybody?
He takes her out the back to meet his talking car. Pants off.
He sends his personal assistant over with an autograph photo and a phone number on the back.
Oh.
I suppose that's the phone number on the back of the autograph photograph, not on the back of the personal assistant.
Yes.
In Kent, 2 men have been found guilty of interfering with an animal. What did they do?
Oh, they jiggled a sheep's bag.
No. More marine.
Shagged a dolphin.
Stripped naked and swam with a dolphin.
Close enough.
I'll give you a point.
Well, they'll try to shag a
If
dolphin.
that's shagging, then never mind.
Cold water stopped it.
Why don't the stingrays intervene then?
They're holding a grudge against you with that one.
Paul, are there any of these that I will know? Because this is going very badly.
Well, thankfully it's over. So, in the mental minefield tonight, Mikey Robbins, Julia Morris and Chris Taylor scored an explosive 52 points. Shafted by Claire Hooper, Mark Watson and Julie McCrossin on 54 points.
I'm so excited. See, I never won once.
Our website is 10.com.au/GNW. It has lots of good stuff, including a sneak peek at next week's Julie versus Julia jelly wrestling match.
We love it. Let's get into it, lover.
So we say, none of your kids are stars. And leave you with the good news for the week ahead. Archbishop George Pell will launch his new book. It's basically just a reprint of the Bible with all the sexist and anti-gay bits underlined in texter. At the Future of Journalism conference, journos from the future will destroy Today Tonight and A Current Affair so that journalism can have a future. Britney Spears will get K-Fed confused with G-Pod and fight for custody of her children with the wrong dildo. And an inquiry into euthanasia laws will confirm that people do have a right to die if their lives aren't worth living, but they shouldn't take the entire Liberal Party with them. Good night.